Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Whole Perspective with Kevin Delory and my good man, Kenny Phillips. Today, we welcome Anthony Casa, who was kind enough actually to recently have me up at his office, and it was great. Amazing office, by the way, Anthony. I'm going to give you guys a little background once Kenny fills you in about some of Anthony's background, about how I met Anthony and how long I've known Anthony. But it's very interesting. So, Kenny, why don't you introduce Anthony and we'll go from there.
Before we get started, let's welcome Anthony Casa, President and CEO currently of UMortgage. Anthony comes with 20 years plus experience in the mortgage industry, plays an active role in strengthening the broker community. He's founded BRAWL, ARIVE, and was a CEO of Garden State Home Loans. He served as the chairman and founder of AIME, which is the Association of Independent Mortgage Experts, where he untied 45,000 plus independent mortgage brokers across the country. He's currently leading UMortgage as a national company that is focused on helping loan originators grow their business and scale their loan volume. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to talk to both of you. I love the accents. The accents make it makes the experience so much more like at home.
Right. Well, it's funny. I've watched Anthony from afar. I came from a company that we weren't really kind to brokers. I think when you look back,
wholesaler.
Wholesaler. You said the word. All right, there we go.
We weren't any members.
I actually listened in on a BRAWL call, one of the first ones where they went through how they were grading them, and I heard them talking about us, and I was like, at the time, I'm like, I don't really think it's that bad, right? I didn't see the light, and then you start to talk about how much it cost for a retail loan officer to acquire a borrower, right? You look at the cost, and then you look at the cost of a wholesale lender to acquire that same borrower. So it's a lot cheaper for a wholesale lender to take somebody else's borrower. And when you really look at the grind of what a loan officer does to get that borrower and to get that loan closed, right, it's such, looking back, I say to myself, wow, that is a dirty dog move that this guy trusted me. I'm his partner. I use the word partner, and you're my client. I call those key words as a wholesale lender to a broker. And then at the end of the day, once the transaction's done, we're not partners anymore. And kudos to you for starting that. But my real question is, where does that come from? Like, it had to be the way you were raised, it had to be your parents, somebody in the industry. What made Anthony Casa say, I'm going to defend all these people. I'm going in it. I'm going to be the champion of this?
Well, I'll tell you. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually I stopped going to school when I was 13 to work in the restaurant business. My father had a stroke, so we were like pretty poor. So I was the only one that was working. I was a dishwasher at the time, so I went to go work in the restaurant business. And the 5 years that's what I thought my career was going to be. I thought I was going to own restaurants, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that wish that's what I ended up doing, but it didn't work out that way. But the thing about the restaurant business is it's all about client retention. Like you can give the first meal away for free. You can give it half away. It's all about making that client a client for life. That's how small, boutique restaurants live, is like, hey, they come to us once a week or once a month. So for me, like getting in the mortgage business, like that mindset was like everything to me. It was like, all right, like I started in a call center, and I would always question like, okay, like we do the loan, we close it, but like what happens next? And nobody really focused on that. It was just like, just work on building the pipeline, churn and burn. I'm like, yeah, but wouldn't it be better if like, while we were churning and burning, we were getting the old customers back? So as I like started my own brokerage, and I start to learn that it's actually a business model within the mortgage industry where companies sell servicing, and the reason why people pay such premiums for servicing is because they're gonna refi that client multiple times. Like they pay a huge premium for it. So they basically say, hey, you do all the work of originating it. We'll buy that servicing because we know that one transaction we just paid for will turn into 3 to 5 to maybe more transactions. And for me, once the light bulb went off and I understood the mechanics of our business and I understood like that whole ecosystem, I realized that the companies that are worth the most are the companies that retain the clients. Like if you look at Freedom Mortgage, if you look at Rocket Mortgage, these are worth the most, 40 billion, 20 billion. Like these companies are worth that much because they are unbelievable at retaining client. They have servicing platforms, it's call centers that stay in front of that client for life. The companies that are not worth a lot are transactional companies. And those are companies that, they might close a lot monthly, but if they shut the engine off, there's no more revenue coming in the door. So for me, the whole business is, have an amazing origination machine, but make sure you have an even better retention machine.
Right.
But what made you want to fight for everyone? Because you could have just fought for yourself. And that's what to me is impressive about you, right? You had a good thing going. You had your own broker shop. You're doing well. What makes you say, look, I'm gonna put everyone on my back and I'm gonna fight for everyone? There's got to be, like, I was raised the youngest of 4 boys. My 3 older brothers always protect me, and we were all about respect and honor. And we would, if you said something about one of us, we'd all fight for the other 3. But there's something about you that is different, and I feel there's a lot alike is when someone messes with you or messes with your friends, they're messing. You got this group together now, but you're the one that did it. What made you say? What is it about Anthony Casa or what the way you were raised that says, I got all of you, I'm fighting for you, not just myself? Because that's selfless.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say it really comes back to what what I care about is like, I'm not a monetarily driven person. Like I tell all of our team members here, like over the course of the next 5 years, I'm going to transfer a majority of the ownership of this company to the employees of the company. I don't care about like that part of it. Like I'm going to wake up every day and do whatever I'm doing. I'm going to do it 100% every day. And whether that's flipping pizzas or, slinging loans or leading people, like I'm going to give it 100%. And for me, it wasn't this big, heavy thing. Like people look back and they're like, wow, it's 45,000 people, blah, 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 blah. But in the moment, it was one person at a time. And each person that believed in me, I was like, oh, now I got 3 guys. Now I got 5 guys. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a second, now we got 100, then we get 200. Then we do our first event and there's 600 people there. And each time it was like the burden or the weight of that got bigger. It's like, oh, now you have responsibility. Like I have a responsibility to 200 people that work here at UMortgage. Like if I don't make it happen, they don't have jobs. And for those people that were, flying across the country to go to events, showing up on those BRAWL scorecard calls and doing all that stuff, it's like, you feel committed to doing it really, really well. And then the best part about the whole situation is when the lender relationships develop. He's like, I developed all the relationships with the brokers, but the lenders kind of looked at me like, this guy is like Jimmy Hoffa, like they really didn't like me. But like once those relationships started to hit, Eddie Prez, Phil Shoemaker, once all of those started to line, Laura Brandeo, Kevin Delory, like once I started developing those relationships, it was like, whoa, wait a second, we got a team. Like it's not us against them. Like these lenders want to be part of it. They want to help support it. And then we do the things that you and I and Eddie did, where you guys come up here and we collaborate and we talk about how we can get better. And I think that's the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that it's not a transactional channel anymore. It's becoming a team.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great point. We always talked about the broker channel. We always said it was transactional. And I was listening to some of the things you said, and you said it really needs to be a relationship, right? You need to educate your borrower. Tell them how to access capital for student loans, things like that. So talk a little bit about educating the borrowers and what you do at UMortgage.
To me, I'm in the loan officer business. Like that's the business that I'm in. So my entire focus is how can I make our loan officers the best version of themselves? So, I focus on educating them on the importance of educating others. One of our core values is create strong communities. So we tell our guys, like the fastest way you're going to grow your business is by doing things that don't generate business. Going to a high school, going to a college, going to a networking event, and just being that home ownership advisor to people, talking about investment properties. You don't have to get a loan that night. But the thing is, this is cumulatively, the name of the game is the number of people that view you as the subject matter expert. Eventually the clients will follow. And that's what I do. I mean, I'm out there chanting brokers are better. When people think broker, they think me. And as a result of that, when somebody wants to become a broker, they call me. And that's the business I'm in.
It's cool, Kenny. It's funny you just brought that up. I read something today. This is from 2019. Anthony said, if you're not changing or evolving, it's over. Right. And that was before all this great COVID thing. And then the thing that stood out to me, and I love this because I really believe in this, It's the get better every day mindset, incremental improvement. Every day I come in here and I'm like, all right, what can I do better today? Whether it's keep my desk cleaner than I did the day before, how can I be more organized?
Right.
That to me is what the game changer is. It's how do I continue to want to be better? You know, I was just filling out some core values, and it's all of what you're talking about. And now I'm realizing how much alike we are. And I was also in the restaurant business growing up. My parents owned some restaurants. Trust me, they took a lot of my money, and I didn't make anything, so I would never want to do that again. But and I did have Jimmy Hoffa written down in my original question, but I thought maybe some of the audience might find it offensive. It went missing tomorrow. So you know, we speak a lot of the same language, but in my opinion, I think if you're able to do that, improve every day to what you're saying, you're in the loan officer business, and I feel like I'm in the account executive business. I want my account executives to get better every day, whatever that is. Maybe it's you know, having a better sense of humor and being able to take a joke when a broker's, you know, busting your hump, or you know, be able to overcome objection. So I think that's the key in this business. One of the things, as far as leadership, I'd like to see more loan officers do is really educate the borrower. I can't do a loan for you today, but I can in 3 months if you do this, this, and this.
Right.
I think a lot of people, I notice in your office, you guys don't do that. You come up with a plan. You say, hey, in 6 months, can't buy a house today because you don't qualify. In 6 months, if you bring this current, you continue to pay this down, I can get you in a loan. And then they check in on them. And I was like, wow,
right.
That's really being part of the community. That's really educating. That's
a relationship.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? Like think about the people you care about. Like you talked about the AEs, like, you know, what you just said about the get better everyday mindset. Like the way I look at it is this, is like somebody's going to pay people more money. Like I had a meeting this morning with one of our people from their people teams. And I said, what is culture to you? And she gave me her answer. And I said, well, good answer, but here's what culture is. Culture, you only notice it when you don't have it. And to me, what we've done is we've created a standard that has created our culture. And our culture is that somebody could offer one of our team members 50% more than they make here, maybe 100% more than they make here. And I'm not saying they're going to stay, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to think about it. And the fact that they think about it is because they know that if they don't have it, if it's not present in their life anymore, it'll be a loss. And like, to me, like right now, my get better everyday mindset, it wears people down because it's obsessive about everything. And, you know, a lot of people, that's too much. Like it's too much to, you know, the receptionist telling her every day, like, hey, you know, the soap dispenser, like, I don't like that we get down to 0 to fill it back up. Why aren't we refilling it at 50%? Like minor details that all add up to the equation of like an environment where like, man, like these guys are firing on all cylinders. And I just think organizations get lazy and they settle for shit. Like to me, anything less than amazing is shit. And I don't care how much I have to suffer until it's great, but I'll suffer every fucking day until we get there rather than settling for shit, because that would be hell.
Right. Yeah. It's about walking the walk, right? It's people trust in you. You know, I read something that you get up at 2:45 in the morning just to answer emails. You know, that's truly walking the walk. And recently, kudos to you. You had 70 new LOs on board in the last week, which is unheard of in a market like this.
Last quarter,
which is still unheard of. People are uncertain. They're fearful of the market, but they're still migrating towards UMortgage. Can you talk a little bit about that to the audience?
Well, I think, you know, somebody said to me recently, they're like, oh, you're recruiting, you know, LOs from the, you know, broker channel. I'm like, no, I'm not. We don't recruit anybody. You're not gonna see anybody show a text message from me recruiting them. It's not gonna happen. It might be a retail LO maybe, but no broker LO. I'm attracting people that are looking for something that they don't have. People that have a void are looking for something to fill that void. And right now, a lot of companies have shitty leadership or no leadership. And their LOs in this chaotic environment are looking around saying, I have a void. I need leadership. I need somebody to tell me things are going to be okay. I need to have direction. I need to know we're going to make it, because by the way, that's not guaranteed. So like when you fill that void, you attract those people. And, you know, for us, we've been very fortunate. We do a recruiting call every week. We get 50 to 100 people on it. We don't hire everybody because we have a high standard. But what we have been able to do is attract some really amazing loan officers that have helped us like we had our best locks week last week. Our Q2 volume will be double what our Q1 volume was in the first quarter, and it'll be double next quarter because we're bringing on a lot of people. This morning, my number one meeting of the day was coordinating how we're going to hire 35 processors in Q3 because we already have $150 million in annual purchase production on board, coming on board, $150 million a month in purchase production coming on board. So I got to support that with 35 processors. Like every other mortgage leader right now is trying to figure out who to fire next or who's going to be their next layoff. So like you can grow this environment. There's two big opportunities. The first opportunity is that you can go out there and grow if you add LOs or add clients. For you guys, it's obviously brokers into your clients. And the other thing is there's an opportunity to upgrade your talent. Like to me right now, a year and a half ago, I couldn't get a processor. I couldn't get an underwriter. I couldn't get any of these people to take our calls because they were all busy and getting paid well. Now you got mass unemployment. You got people that are scared. Like now's the time to go out and upgrade your team in every area.
Yeah, I agree. I think, it's funny you say that. If you have it, people know that you have it. And I don't have to tell you what it is, you don't get it, and you clearly have it, right? So people are attracted to that it factor. I think, one of the reasons we're doing so well, we're bucking the trend of every other wholesale lender, and we're not number one at price. It's because we're doing the right thing. We understand there's a power at the end of that transaction. This isn't a transaction for us. It's a relationship, but it all comes back to one thing, and that's the culture. I've worked at companies, and I can tell you at this company, you've heard me say it 100 times, it's not just something we put on a business card or paint on the wall.
Yeah.
It lives, it breathes, it eats, it's alive. And, it starts from the top, where Eddie is 100% about culture. And if you're not aligned with the culture, you're probably, this isn't the place for you. So when people think, why should I go there? Call one of the AEs here and ask how happy they are if it's real. It's 100% real. And I could tell when I was in your office, it's written all over. You guys are 100% transparent with their goals are, where they're at on their goals. And that's what people want. They want someone's going to be honest with them up front, give them a fair shake. But if the culture's there, to your point, Anthony, you will win every time over the guy that's going to pay you an extra 5-10 basis points.
100%. You'll win way more than that. And that's the trend that I hope, at the end of our run here, when we're as we build our business, that people realize is like loan officers have this label, whether they're in the broker channel or the retail channel, that they're mercenaries. And at UMortgage, they're not mercenaries, they're patriots. And I can tell you right now, you could call Jimmy Hobson, you could call Matt Gauger, you call these guys and offer big signing bonuses, they're not going anywhere. And they're not going anywhere, not just because of Anthony Casa, they're not going anywhere because we got 200 people that care so much and care too much every single day, are giving it their all. And they know that, and they want to be part of that because they give it their all the same. So I think the mercenary label ends very soon, and you're going to see, Eddie Perez is a freaking amazing human being. Like I've developed an amazing relationship with that guy, and he's like a brother. And like, I talk to him about everything. I talk about my personal life, I talk about everything. Like, he's an amazing guy. And when you meet amazing people like that, like you got to protect them, you got to support them, you got to be there for them. And that's what we've done here is we got 200 amazing people. And I feel obligated every single day to make sure I'm protecting and supporting them.
Wow.
You're right. Okay.
No, I was going to say, you said something about that as you're building your company, how passionate you are. And you're saying everyone's not going to have the same passion, but you need people that are going to be reliable and work hard because, like you said, everyone's not going to have the passion and drive that you have.
Passion is an output. I'm not worried about the output. Like passion is what you see. Okay. I'm not worried about that. You can be committed to get better every day and not be what I am. You don't have to be out there talking about it and all rah, rah, rah. I have people, I have one team member right now. She might say three. I might have hear her say, I don't know, maybe a word a week. I mean, she's as quiet as can be. And she comes, does her job, blah, blah. She's been promoted 4 times since she's been here. She just gets the job done and she does it well. And when she needs to work extra hours, when she needs to do what she needs to do to get it to support the experience, she does it. And like, to me, it's like people show their passion in different ways. And I'm more focused on like what, how they're doing it versus, what we see.
I agree with that. I think you said it earlier, there's a lot of shit leadership out there right now. I think people need to realize when they come to work for you every day and they give you their all, they just want to be recognized. They want to be, hey, you did a great job. Yeah, you are up for promotion. You did a great job. Just saying the word, oh my God, Sally, you did such a great job today. You'll be shocked how many people think, I was told this, it's a true story. Don't get too close to those people that work for you because you'll make big mistakes. Don't talk to them too much. Keep yourself with your door closed all day. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm in this office, 70 hours a week with these people. How do I walk by them and just say good morning and not get to know them? And that is my value, is that they're all like family now. To your point, like I have continued to improve myself since I got to know Eddie. I've read more books in the last year than I read in the last 20 years, right? Because that's what he's all about. Like,
yes,
proving yourself. But to get those relationships with people, I feel like I have a family here. I really feel like every person that comes to work is family. And to your point, I care about how much money they make. I want to make sure that they have the best of whatever they want. And that's on me. I carry that on my shoulders every day. It doesn't weigh me down. It's just in the back of my head that, Bob needs to, buy a new house. I want to do what I can to make sure Bob gets in that new house.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. Kevin, you're right, man. Like the people, this is one of my top LOs said to me. He's like, one day I want to be the CEO of UMortgage. I was like, that's all. Like, yeah. He's like, that would be great. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you're CEO. I was like, I don't want to be the CEO of UMortgage. The CEO of UMortgage is not, I want to be with my people all day long. I'm stuck in an office for 13, 14 hours a day. I'm doing HR. I'm doing compliance. Like I'm involved in all these different areas of the business. And they're, even though you got to do them, that's not what I want to be doing. I want to be spending time with my people. So like, yeah, become the CEO. I would love that to happen. Like that would be amazing. But to your point about the people part of it, it's like, I don't think money is the equation. Like I don't look at things as, again, going back to the mercenary thing, my focus with my people is how am I helping them get better? I need to add value to them. It doesn't have, like, once it's monetary, like that's just like anybody can do the monetary thing. Like that's the cheap way out. My thinking is I want them to succeed and make money in their job and everything, but how am I helping them get better? How am I putting them in a position to get better? I had one of our team members is a trainer on our team. She's 26 years old. She started with us a year and a half ago. Never did training before, worked at SoulCycle. And 2 weeks ago, she did a presentation for the whole company, all the leaders, all these people. And we were talking about it. She asked me for feedback after we were talking about it. She's like, I was like, how are you feeling? She's like, honestly, it was a transformational experience. She's like, I'll never be the same after that. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. And I told her, I was like, this is what people don't understand. You had to do it, so you did it. But realistically, until you go through it, you sit back and you're coming to me for feedback because you're like, I know I did and got through it, but you want to get better. And now that's the game, is how can I improve on this? So like, we're adding value. We're putting her in a position to challenge herself in a way that she was never able to challenge herself before. So like, that's the stuff that we got to talk. If the person's going through the motions and not getting better, not change, like their brain's not being tested, that's a problem. You got to replace yourself. Like to me, I want somebody to replace me. I want somebody to be a better CEO than me. I truly do. I won't be offended. When I left Garden State Home Loans, that was my baby. That's all I thought about for 8 years. And I built that thing from scratch. But the day I walked out the door, I walked out with clarity to know that this was an amazing team that I was left leaving behind. And they were ready to run the company without me. We built a company that was ready to sustain without me. When I left AIME, I left it with full certainty, knowing that leadership team, the team that was in place, was ready to lead the broker channel without me. I knew the community would also support that leadership. So like, to me, that's the game, is like, replace yourself. I don't want to be the person that has to be involved in everything. I want to be replaceable.
That's leadership, right? I mean, Kenny had this conversation today. I said, Kenny, I want you to want my job. That's leadership, right? And I just look around and I look at some of my peers and I'm just shake my head. I'm like, do you even know what it's like to pick up the phone and call a broker and help them through a loan? Do you even know what it's like to talk to a borrower? I like that. I always say, I tell the story all the time. My first job, my first boss said to me, if we're in a trench together and I yell charge in a war, would you run out there? And I said, no. He said, why not? I said, because I don't know you. I left him a year later to start wholesale. And he said, would you do it? I said, absolutely. I said, why? I said, because I know you're right there doing the same thing I'm doing. And if you yell charge, you'd be right there in front of me. You'd probably jump in front of a bullet for me. And those are the type of that's a real leader. not just because you have it on your business card that says you're the CEO and you sit in the office every day and you point fingers and you hire, puppets underneath you to be the real leaders. Those are the people that we need to get out of the business and get more people that care about the people in the business. Whether it's, I love what you said, because Chris Gordon told us this a few weeks ago. Continue to educate your loan officers so they don't feel like they're just there for the transaction. They're educators, they're advisors, and he calls his loan officers mortgage advisors because they're more than just, we go to financial advisors to make sure that we make more money and make smart investments. Why wouldn't you go to a mortgage advisor to educate you on your options and all these things? But he cares about his people, so he's put the time and effort in to educate them. But he's also not afraid to get on the floor and pick up the phone and call the borrower. Yeah. That's leadership. I think some people it goes right over their head. And I'm glad you share that because people think our business is relationship, the loan office is transactional. And I say BS. It's all relationship driven. Because if you're a loan officer and you do a good job by that borrower and you educate them, they're running around town telling everyone, hey, if you need a mortgage, you need to refi, call Anthony.
Yeah, you're right. And it's funny as heck because that's the same way I feel about EPM. Is like, I care about Eddie, I care about Laura, I care about you, I care about Kenny, I care about the whole team. And I want to do my part to help the company grow. And if I'm not doing it, I'm not feeling like I'm doing my part for those relationships. So like, I think like the faster that people start to focus on relationships and not money, the faster that they'll get reciprocal value, because, all those people that I just mentioned are the same people that try to do everything they can do to help me. And it's a very much a give-take relationship.
Right. I think a lot of things you said, Anthony, kind of speaks to why people actually believe in you, right? It's the selflessness. You left a mortgage company that you built for something bigger. You say you want to touch more people, right? And that says a lot. Monetarily, most people are driven monetarily. To say you want to touch more people, make people better is just an amazing statement. We talked about
Kenny. You guys have kids in a family. Like people get up in the morning for different things.
Right.
I get up in the morning focused on nothing other than what I'm doing that day. Like I'm not sitting there going through the motions. Like if it's a Saturday, I'm not working. Whoever I interact with that day, I'm going to give them everything I got. All the security guards in our building, they all know who I am. We talk sports, we talk this, we talk that. And when people come to our building, they always brag about UMortgage. They always talk about how nice we are. Like, I think it's just a fucking mindset. It's like people don't care anymore. People need to understand that like the fundamentals of life are being a good fucking person and not being, a douche. And unfortunately, like COVID and the pandemic created a lot of people that are just like don't know how to interact and care about people anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. I was with a younger guy, guy that works. I won't mention his name. Walking down the street, somebody walked past me. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he looked at me and said, "Do you know that guy?" I'm like, "No, look, we made eye contact. That's what you do. You guys don't have his number and text him." I mean, and to your point, when I did visit your office, sure enough, the security guard did say, "Tell Mr. Casa I said good morning." And I was like, "Wow, this guy, yeah." It's about being a good person, because just saying hi to somebody, the way I used to hire account executives was I would take them to a bar, we'd sit at a bar, have dinner, and how many people can you interact with and get to know before you leave there? Because at the time I was single, and I would sit at a bar and have dinner every night, and I get to know 10 people. I made some great friendships, because that's what it's all about. It's about just looking someone in the eye and having a conversation. But nowadays, everyone's heads down and they want to text everyone. They want to look at their phone.
Social media.
Be in the moment for what it's worth. Be in that moment, whether it's walking by someone, whether it's being someone on an elevator. Be in that moment, have conversations. You never know who you're going to meet, right?
That's entirely right. And you never know who you interact with that's going to interact with somebody that you care about. Like, so, the person you treat like crap is going to come across a person that you care about, and they're going to share a bad experience about you with that person. And that's going to change the perspective of somebody. So, to me, you just got to be self-aware, and you got to be focused on the right things. But mortgage business is an interesting business, man. Like, you guys know, you've been through it. I would just say that like, it's so challenging, and it's so like, it's like, you'll never figure it out. It's not like a Rubik's Cube. We're going to get it. It's always changing. And the more that you are adaptable and, are able to change with it, the more you'll evolve as a person. Like, I look at what's going, like one of my team members who's been with me for 5 years, he's actually been with me since Garden State Home Loans. He said to me the other day, he's like, what's the most challenging thing you've ever done? And I looked him dead in the eye. I was like, this right now, like we're fighting for our lives right now. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, we're trying to outgrow a shrinking market. Do you know how hard this is? Like, I'm working harder and I got more on the line than I've ever had on the line before. Like, this is the most challenging. He's like, oh. I was like, yeah, like that's where I'm at. But that's just the where I'm always going to be at because I'm always going to challenge myself. I know you guys are the same way.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, Anthony, we just like to get a little bit about value, right? It's the podcast about value add, what you bring to the market, what you bring to the broker community. What is the biggest value add that you have for the financial mortgage industry?
You know, I think that I'm a purist. So I love the mortgage industry. I'm not a mortgage guy. Okay. I don't do loans. I care about client experience. I care about human interaction. I care about relationships. I care about self-improvement. So like to me, the mortgage industry is, you know, it's an amazing platform, but I think I'm as a purist and somebody that's passionate about people, I can lead by example. And I hope that people steal and take everything that I do and apply it in their own business. I'm very open source with everything. It's like, you want to take my entire playbook, take it. You want to take my values, take them. You want to take anything you want, take it. And I just think that like the more that we can drive that kind of culture across the industry, the better we are. And if that results in more competition and my value propositions diminish, then it results in that. But I think that like this is such a great industry and there should be more people in it.
Well, I want to thank you, Anthony. I mean, we've come a long way since me spying on your BRAWL call, and I'm very happy to be now in the ARIVE community, which I've never seen anything like it. You know, I was always afraid of it. Yeah, I thought they were going to string me up from where I came from, and they've welcomed me with open arms, and I've learned so much from them, and I learned so much from you. I mean, you were kind enough, like I said at the beginning, to have us out, show us, you know, behind the curtain of things that you think we should be doing, and we're implementing all of those, and they're already paying dividends. So thank you again. But yeah, I always thought we were a little alike, but I was on the dock side and you were you were pulling the curtain back on me, but now we're on the same team. So it's much more enjoyable to be in your presence. So thank you.
Absolutely. We are on the same team. If there's any brokers out there, I'll tell you this right now, give your feedback to EPM. If something goes wrong, if you're not happy, don't just stop using them. Give them their feedback. These guys are committed to getting better. These guys are great partners. Eddie Perez is one of the few entrepreneur owners that is committed to being in wholesale long-term. He's committed to running a great business. He's not monetarily driven. He wants to do the right thing by his clients and people. Like, there's not enough Eddie Perez's out there. So I could just tell you that, like, be patient, give them feedback. They'll take it and get better, but do business with this company because I'm not saying it for any other reason than I believe in the people that are there.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Well, thanks, Anthony. That was great.
Yeah. I want to thank everyone for listening to The Whole Perspective. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to continue the conversation, you can always email Kenny or I directly at kphillips@epm.net or kevin@epm.net, or head over to Empower Brokers Community Facebook group. And you can also find the link on LinkedIn at EPM Wholesale. And don't forget that tickets go on sale today for July 28th and 29th for EPM Wholesale. We're having an event at the Battery in Atlanta. Anthony will actually be there. He'll be speaking to you and giving you some tips and tricks how to get better. We'll also have Tim Grover giving the keynote there. There'll be a lot of great speakers. 2 days of giving you everything we have to help make you better and grow your business. So it's going to be a great time. Like I said, tickets go on sale today. Make sure you head over to EPM Wholesale to learn more about it.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Anthony.